hearing on the FY 2016 budget. I think at this point, I'll just have the clerk make notation of the attendance, because this is a hearing on the budget before our regular board meeting. You're right on time. So we're gonna really just call for public comment for the regarding the budget for 2016, and give the public an opportunity to comment on it. So I open the floor for public comment on the 2016 Chippewa County budget, if anybody'd like to speak. We're even trying to save some money with the lights, I guess. They seem to be going down.
That'd be me, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Save money where I can, I guess.
Nicely done. 2016 budget, public comment. Is there anybody who'd like to speak? And last chance, public comment for the budget. Hearing no comment, I will close the public comment period. I think we have no further business regarding the public hearing. Is that right? So I would entertain a motion to adjourn the hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we adjourn the public hearing. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. So that concludes the public hearing portion. We will be voting on the budget later in the meeting, but it is a requirement that we do what we just did. So I now call to order the November regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. As always, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner McLean, would you start us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk please take a roll call attendance?
Commissioner Egan.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Chairman Shackleton.
Here. So we're all here. We move to additions, deletions, and agenda approval. We have an agenda presented.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported that we approve the agenda as submitted. Is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. And we move to the Michigan Committee for Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. Welcome. And he's going to come speak up here for us and then do a little presentation.
Hi, my name is David Schur. I live on Drummond Island. I'm with the Department of Defense, the employer support for the Guard and Reserve. It's primarily a volunteer group, and the Guard, the Reserves, support Mr. German. We have he has vowed his support for the Guard and Reserve and our veterans, and would like to give him the certificate.
I think it belongs to the whole commission.
Okay.
And I've got my own personal camera now, right?
Okay, nice.
You can't do it without this commission.
Why don't we, why don't the whole commission come up?
Jim?
This is affirming that we are supporting the Guard and the employment thereof of our veterans. And, well, we almost hit it right on Veterans Day.
This ain't working. Everybody gotta get closer. Pretend you like each other. Pretend like you like each other.
Get a good one yet?
I just took a bunch because sometimes somebody's
I was gonna say, I don't know if you can get a good one that much.
Very much, very much.
There's something wrong with this climate, Jim. Yeah.
I subject.
Of course I heard that. Oh, why not?
Yeah, there you go. One thing I would like to say, though, if you have a moment,
Go ahead.
ESGR, which is a great organization that's spread out through all the states, that even happens today, even through what we've gone through.
Is that even legal?
Hmm.
Is that even legal?
Well, I don't think it's legal, because we also support the USERA law, you know. We had a case, and it was at a hospital, not in town, but it was in eastern UP, that a nurse was deployed to Afghanistan. This was within the last 5 years, not mentioning the hospital. The hospital would not give her her job back because she was deployed, they replaced her and stuff, which under the USERA law, which is what we do, is go in and have a come to Jesus meeting with them. They either handle it with us through the SGR, or they go to Washington. And subsequently, they elected to give her a job back. But that was in the last 5 years. And that was after the Gulf War and stuff. Which is a shame, but sometimes, you know, people have different outlooks in life and don't understand what the ramifications could be. And who would ever think that would happen in this day and age with what our military goes through? But it does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen. So anyways, I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate Jim's support for us and the board, and thank you very much. If you want me to vote on a budget right now, I will.
Go ahead, just vote aye.
Is it okay for you right here?
Thank you, Dave.
All right.
Thanks,
you very much.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
We move to approval of county board minutes. We do have minutes from the regular board, of October 12th, budget workshops on the 19th and the 20th. I think if the motion is to approve them all together, that would be acceptable, but whoever makes the motion, that's your choice.
I move we accept the regular board meeting budget workshop on October 19th and 20th. Minutes as presented.
Support.
Motion made to accept the minutes from those three get-togethers. One was a board meeting and two were workshops. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to correspondence received in the clerk's office. Page 18 will reflect the variety of correspondence we receive on a monthly basis.
I'd move we acknowledge the correspondence received in the clerk's office and if necessary, forward them to the appropriate committee.
Support.
Motion made and supported to acknowledge and forward as needed correspondence received. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to public comments. If there's anybody in the public who would like to comment or address the board tonight, this is your opportunity. Once again, anybody in the public who would like to comment? Last chance. Public comment. Public comment is closed. We move to the administrator's report on page 19. Administrator German.
You'll see the various monthly reports there, Department of Veteran Affairs, the Animal Control, Public Defender, Sheriff's Department, War Memorial Hospital, and Northern Transitions. There is also a resolution opposing House Bill 4138 on the presumptive parole for Delta County, from Delta County, for your review. Letter of support from the State Fair for Mr. Campbell. I'd also like to say that although I'm not 100% sure at this point, I am 85% sure that the pipe in question that Mr. Martin was having me watch over at finance, creeping up to $8,000 to $14,000 on that bill. I am 85 to 90% sure that I believe the insurance company will cover that, only costing us $1,000, but I need verification yet. The only other issue I have is the wage reopener has started with the road patrol, and it's not going to be an easy path. And that's my report.
Thank you. And I would direct the board members' attention to that letter from Delta County. It's regarding a bill, and this bill, as I understand it, would grant presumptive parole to felons and to people in the prison system. I don't know if we want to take action on it tonight, but I hope you'll take a few moments to read it and to learn a little more about it, and perhaps we want to do something similar. That's the administrator's report, and we can move on to old business. And we have nothing itemized, but it is a mandated regular part of our agenda, but there's nothing itemized under old business. And seeing nothing, we will move to new business, starting with the applicant announcements. These are for our boards and commissions, and they are on page 41. We advertised, the county did, a number of openings on different boards and commissions, and we have received those applications. I don't think I'm gonna read them all at this point, but we did have a great response, lots of participation and return of people who are interested. What we normally do is advertise it, then accept them, and then the following month, vote on them. So our normal course of business would be to accept these applications, and at the December meeting, vote on them, which is always tough, because you have so many good people, and it's hard to say no to a bunch of good people and yes to only one. But sadly, that's how it works. So, an appropriate action for us tonight would be to accept these applications.
I move that we accept the applications.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the board applications will be accepted. And is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Item B are some more board announcements that we're going to, that we should advertise. These ones begin in April. They expire at the end of March, so they begin the 1st of April. So we have a little more time on these. Normally we do them together, but we just kind of missed it, so we're gonna go ahead and do them now. The exception is the Superior District Library. That one actually does begin on January 1st, but it was advertised with our first shot of board advertising, and we did not receive any applications for it. So we're going to advertise for that position again, and that's why that one is in there. So again, the appropriate thing to do would be to advertise this now, then we'll get in the applications, and then we'll vote on them at the February meeting and have them in place in time for their April 1st start.
Do we need a motion to accept?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I'll so move.
Support.
Okay, so the motion should be to go ahead and advertise these vacancies. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Now, we have a number of resolutions. Each of these resolutions requires a roll call vote that will be called by the, pardon me, by the county clerk. If I say all in favor, stop me, because we have to take a vote on them. The first one is item C, Resolution 1525. This is the memorandum of understanding with the state of Michigan, Chippewa County Animal Patrol. I guess what I would say with each of these, just to move it along, is if you're comfortable with it, make the motion, and we'll get a second on it, presumably, and then if you have any questions, we can address it after we have the motion on the table. So, Resolution 1525.
I'll make the motion, we accept resolution number 1525 as is.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Martin. Is there any questions or comment on this resolution? All in favor? Oh, see, there I go. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. So we move next to Resolution 1526. This is a resolution between the Michigan Public Safety Communications System Integration Agreement with the Chippewa County Emergency Services. It is on page 46.
I'll move resolution 1526.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Resolution 1526. Is there any questions or comment on this? Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. Resolution 1527 is item E. It is on page 62. I'm gonna jump forward to 62. This is a resolution supporting House Bill 4575 and Senate Bill 282.
I'd move resolution 1527.
Support?
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion or questions about this?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
I think that this is a well-meant idea. I don't think it necessarily is going into the places it needs to. You know, there are transmission lines that go in between the upper and lower peninsula. They're currently not at capacity. We could be putting this money into power in the eastern UP, making us a little bit more autonomous. And I think that that should be investigated as well. So,
Thank you.
my thoughts.
Anyone else? Commissioner McLean?
This resolution came out of Mackinac County. They're looking at a number of things. When we think of a power line across the straits, we think of importing power. But in effect, this one can be used also for exporting power. Mackinac County has a number of projects that are in the works right now. Mackinac actually in Luce County, as far as generation of power. The Luce County is working on something in Newberry relative to some kind of cogeneration. The Mackinac County is looking for something around Rexton, which is the intersection of the power lines, I believe, and the gas line that goes through there for a gas generation facility. And they're trying to gather up enough, because if they put those in, then this will be needed in order to accommodate that. And again, it's I guess working towards making the Upper Peninsula energy independent, per se. More, you know, we ran into the crisis last year. We were right in the midst of it at this point with the Presque Isle plant. The Presque Isle plant's still gonna close. We hear various arguments, you know, there's some saying, well, we can just rely on Wisconsin, but I'm not particularly comfortable with that. There's other people say that we could run a power line to Sioux, Ontario and use the Canadian power like Detroit and Port Huron do, but for some reason that's not something that is looked upon for a variety of reasons, I guess. And this is something that I think that we need to support. If it isn't economically feasible, it isn't going to be built. But if it isn't approved, we won't ever find out whether it's economically feasible or approved. So,
And I'd just like to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
This is, if I'm not correct, or not mistaken, this is member paid for. So that means that all of our electric bills are gonna go up because of this, to build that transmission line for 2 power plants that haven't been built yet. So in my view, it's kind of the cart before the horse. That's the only reason so.
well, again, this is, if it's not economically feasible, and in reality, as you pointed out, Connor, relative to the fees for the restaurants, the consumer ultimately pays regardless. We're the only ones with any money in our pockets, okay?
That's
I thought the
debatable.
government paid for everything.
That's right.
I don't understand. All right, I think we've heard both sides of that, and where I think we're ready to vote. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan,
Nay.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes?
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes, and that is supported with 1 nay. So we move to resolution 1528. This is the 2016 Budget Resolution and General Appropriations Act on page 81.
I'll move resolution 1528, the 2016 budget resolution.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, that we approve resolution 1528. Is there discussion or questions? Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. Move to 1529, this is item G, 11G, resolution 1529, final apportionment of the 2015 millages. This is on page 89.
I move resolution 1529.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there any discussion or questions?
I guess I'd just like to mention that with the title, this is where the money comes from, that runs government, that gives it all away. Okay.
Okay, anything else? Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. Resolution 1530 is item 11H. This is the 2016 borrowing resolution that would authorize the treasurer to borrow to pay off the 2015 delinquent taxes to the local units of government. We generally don't do it, but always felt it was appropriate to have it in place if necessary. And I probably went into more detail than I needed to, but it's on page 90. And anybody like to move it?
I'll move resolution 1530.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan. Is there any questions or comments on this?
I just want to mention,
Commissioner
as I did at the finance meeting, that a number of years ago, this was a necessary resolution because we had to borrow money to cover a variety of things, and this was to cover the delinquent taxes. A commission, quite a few years ago, I don't know if you were on the commission then, Scott, I think it was probably even before
I
your
think it
time.
was before me, yeah.
They set up a mechanism where in order to get around this, get around it in that we put money aside and we are able to gather enough money through that process, and it happens in the clerk's office through what's called the DTRF, which is the Deferred Tax Revolving Fund. And it's, when we were borrowing, we had to pay interest. This was a wise move a number of years ago, and I just wanted to mention just what it's all
Right,
about.
exactly so, and I think it was always a short-term loan.
Yep.
But yet was necessary every year. Okay, so we have a motion before us. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes?
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes, so that is also approved. We move to item 11I, which is Resolution 1531. This bill supports Senate Bill 1529 and House Bill 4909, the notorious big box store issue. So if anybody'd like to make that motion, and then we can chime in on that a bit.
I'll move resolution 1531. I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Martin. And anybody have any questions or comments?
Just, you misread the Senate resolution.
Oh, did I?
The number, yes, 1524, not 1529. Gotta get your glasses sharp.
524?
524.
You said 15.
Can somebody correct us?
You got the wrong glasses on?
Yeah, I got yours on.
I just want to mention it. Everybody get the email I sent out a couple days ago?
Yeah.
Over in Marquette, they had a public meeting on this, and over 300 people showed up, and were very interested in it. And they're starting a sort of a grassroots, activist group to encourage the legislature to address this. I think it's something we may want to look at and see if there's, either we can work in with them and extend it over here, or extend it UP-wide or statewide, but again, if you didn't happen to see that email, look at it and follow a couple of the links, because it appears there's healthy public interest on this over in western Michigan. And we need folks throughout the state and throughout our area as well to understand the long-term effects that this could have.
And we should be reaching out to other counties that have centers with large large
Yeah.
populations of big box stores. Emmett County is one of them.
Every county's gonna feel this.
Yes,
Every
it
county.
is something that is coming, and I'm glad to see people are starting to understand that, you know, they're taking money out of their pockets.
Was this, excuse me,
Go ahead.
Jim, did you go down and testify regarding one of these bills?
It was regarding the whole package. It was an exploratory investigation related into giving the state representatives background information on how it was hurting every county, and it was a detailed explanation on what Walmart had just done to us. So it goes along with these two, but it was also an informational type setting for representatives to hear the problems from local counties.
And the reality is, if you read your MAC update today, when I went this summer, it was 30 million that the MTT had given away. It's now $78 million. So as the clock ticks, more and more money is given. Call it what it is, corporate welfare. So the longer this waits, the longer it takes, the more the legislature drags their feet, the more tens of millions of dollars that we're short forever. And I read that. I'm just 78 million MTT is given back. That's over double of, what was that? Was that June?
Yeah.
When that thing was? So June, they've over doubled what they've given back from June until November.
And thanks for reminding me and us to thank Jim for making the trek down to Lansing and testifying at that public hearing. Which is kind of a strange, having been in the legislature, it's kind of a strange occurrence to have a public hearing separate from the bills. Normally, you have the bills in committee, and you have public hearings in that committee. Not public, well, there are public hearings, but you have hearings in that committee. And this is somehow was a hearing separate from the consideration of the bills. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on there, but any opportunity to promote a solution to this issue is a good one, I guess.
One other thing, we view it, when you mentioned 78 million and it had been 30 million and this type of thing, as being what some would term no-brainer. But from Rudy and I's attendance at the Upper Peninsula County Commissioners Association meeting last Thursday and Friday, this is not a done deal. These bills are still, Walmart, Jim had indicated that when he left the hearing room that he ran into some Walmart lobbyists and lawyers, and it isn't just Walmart. And there's lots of question downstate about this. When you look at a county, some of the bigger counties with lots of people, they have other sources of revenue. A box store like a Walmart is not a real big deal to them. Up here, I remember 2 or 3 years ago when Walmart opened, that was and we were in a down, the housing market was down and everything else was going down. The only reason we had any increase in revenue that year was because the Walmart opened. And so this is really significant to us. Again, places that have General Motors plants and stuff like that.
Right.
So what? But it's significant to us.
Well, it may not be a
And it
big
should
deal
be.
to them now, but if General Motors follows suit and they want their factory taxed as an empty store, that might affect them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna affect everybody in town.
It should be, anybody that, or any county that is fiscally responsible is gonna look at this as a loss. So,
Right.
something needs to be done.
All right. Well, I
They
think
got their attention.
we've hit on the problem pretty well. Let's hope that the solution gets passed. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes,
Commissioner Martin.
All right.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
And Chairman Shackleton.
Yes, that is passed as well. We move to standing committee reports. We have two. We start with Personnel, Equalization, Enforcement, Transportation, Health and Social Services. They had a meeting on November 2nd. Commissioner Egan chaired it, and we're ready for your report, sir.
A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel and Equalization and Apportionment, Transportation, Health, and Social Services Committee was held on Monday, November 2nd, 2015, at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman Egan called the meeting to order at 11:45 a.m. with a quorum present. Members present, Connor Egan and Rudy Johnson. Members absent, Scott Shackleton. Others present, Jim German, County Administrator, Don McLean, and Kelly Church. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda. It was moved by Commissioner Shackle.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah. It was moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Johnson to approve the agenda as amended. As item C, Health Department hire, on a voice vote, the motion carried. There was no public comment. The agenda items included the 50th Circuit Court Compliance Office job description. The committee received a revised 50th Circuit Court Drug Court Compliance Officer job description, which will replace the job description that was just approved on October 13th, 2015 by the Board of Commissioners per the request of the 50th Circuit Court. It was moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Egan to approve the revised 50th Circuit Court job description on a voice vote. That motion carried. The County Administrator evaluation.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
Oh, we
Okay.
do need a vote.
Yeah, would
Oh,
you make the
sorry.
motion? Go ahead and make the motion if you're
I'm-
inclined to.
I so move that the 50th Circuit Drug Court Compliance Officer job description
Is approved as
is
presented.
approved as presented.
Okay.
Sorry.
Support.
No problem. Motion made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next came the County Administrator evaluation. The committee reviewed the Chippewa County Administrator CFO employee evaluation form presented by Committee Chair Egan, which is at the back of the, right? Back,
Yes.
I believe it's attached to your, the scope of the evaluation is to have the employees, administrators, and colleagues of the administrator deals with on a daily basis to complete the evaluation for the committee. All county employees will be included, agencies and affiliates of the county, with the final listing to be approved by personnel chair. The evaluations will be handed out personally by Chairman Egan and returned via mail stamped envelopes to be made available. Personnel chair will summarize the evaluation responses and then get back with the committee. The evaluations will not be shared directly with the administrator and will be due back to personnel chair Egan by December 15th. So, there are a few different boards that are the Chippewa County Health Department, EDC, UPTA, War Memorial Hospital, and county attorneys, etc. It was moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Egan, to move forward with the Administrator CFO evaluations as discussed, with evaluations going to all employees of the county as well as agencies and colleagues that the Administrator deals with on a daily basis. The evaluation shall be returned by December 15th to Personnel Chair Egan for confidential review and summarization, with the summary to be reported back to committee. On a voice vote, the motion was carried, and I so move that we accept the county administrator's evaluation process.
All support. Motion made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Martin. So we have a motion before us. Is there discussion? I guess I have one question. I mean, this is, I'm sure you're aware, this is certainly different from how it's been done in the past.
Yes.
And what I'm reading here is that the evaluations are going to go to the committee chair, and like, you're the only one that's gonna see them?
I'm gonna do a summary of it, otherwise, it's, what was it?
You can get into open meeting.
Yeah, you get into the open meeting acts, that way anybody can FOIA it. And what this is designed to do is make everyone comfortable saying what they need to say, without having to worry about it coming back.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
that's why we were doing it this way.
All right. And we usually in the past, Well, usually in the past, it was just the, county board would do it, and it would be tabulated, so to speak. I guess if you wanna try it this way, I'm open to seeing how it goes. Commissioner McLean?
Connor and I have talked about this, and the thing about it is that the county commission, us, will do the evaluation. This is for information purposes.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't think we can shrug our responsibility and turn the evaluation of the administrator over to everybody, okay? But it's a method of gathering this, and I applaud Commissioner Egan for taking this on, and I wanna talk to him when he goes through the compilation process and gets it all done, because I know Commissioner Martin understands paperwork.
Yep.
And all this, this is gonna be a big task, and I applaud you for taking it on, and I hope you make it through it all.
We changed it for one simple reason. We wanted the evaluation to help Jim do a better job. And just simply giving him numbers and doesn't tell him, where his strengths are and what he's doing well and what he could use a little help with. We're not saying he does a bad job. We're not tying this evaluation to his contract. We want to make sure this makes him a better administrator, and that's the goal of this.
Understand. Any further discussion? We have a motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Back to you, Commissioner Egan.
We're reading. Next item was Health Department position replacement approval. Committee discussed County Board Policy number 116 with regards to the interpretation and the past practice of filling budgeted staff position. As the committee should be making all recommendations to full County Board of Commissioners concerning all personnel requests, and due to the continued budgeting factors of increasing fringe benefits, cost, and reduced revenue, each position will be thoroughly evaluated to make sure that it is necessary. The Health Department's Emergency Preparedness Coordinator, Shane Albrecht, recently gave notification of his resignation, and the committee discussed the replacement of this position. It was moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the Health Department to rehire the position of Emergency Preparedness Coordinator. On a voice vote, the motion was carried, and I so move that we accept the Health Department position replacement approval as presented.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was then moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Egan, to update policy number 116, Personnel Committee, to reflect under letter E. All hiring through attrition and/or position requests will be approved by the Personnel Committee prior to the position's official hire date. On a voice vote, that motion was carried, and I move that we accept this change to policy number 116, Personnel Committee, to reflect under letter E, as presented.
Support?
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee then heard chair comments. There were no additional comments. Other than committee chair Egan is excited about the evaluation process. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton. Well, no, it must have been moved by Commissioner Egan, seconded by Commissioner Johnson to adjourn the meeting. On a voice vote, that motion was carried. Chairperson Egan declared the meeting adjourned at 12:42 a.m.
Who took those minutes?
I have a feeling it's PM. Okay.
I don't know, it might have been
I
him.
did the minutes,
Oh.
although I have asked someone to look at the minutes.
I thought I was gonna be able to dump it all on Jim, that's what I was gonna.
All right, would you move approval of the minutes, please, Commissioner?
I so move.
I'll support.
Okay, motion made made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Martin, to accept the report from Personnel Equalization, Enforcement, Transportation, Health, Social Services Committee. Those meeting minutes with the changes that we noted during the course of the report. Is there any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Finance, Claims, and Accounts. Commissioner Martin.
Regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance Claims and Accounts Committee was held on Wednesday, November 4th, 2015, at Chippewa County Building, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Called the meeting to order at 5:30 with a quorum. Commissioners Shackleton, McLean, Egan, Johnson, and myself were all present. No one was absent. Others present: Margie Hank, Mike Bittner, Dennis McShane, Liz Chambers, Paul Stanaway, Sharon Kennedy, Jeff Miller, Jenny Pierce, Brian Bartlett, Tim McKee, Robert Savoy, and Kelly Church. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton to approve the agenda as amended with the addendum and change. On a voice vote, that motion carried. I'm just moving forward, right? Right. There was no public comment offered. The committee did receive the treasurer's investment reports, monthly travel report, and October Visa billing statement. Agenda items. We reviewed a bid for the IBM Power System 7 Plus. Come to find out, the Power System 8 price was even lower, and we are going to be able to do this with an estimated price of about $45,000. Therefore, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the purchase of the IBM Power System 8 from Innovative Technical Consulting Incorporated at a price not to exceed $32,904.72. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Johnson, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there discussion on the motion? That's the right number, 32,904?
Yep. And,
Okay,
but we've still got the 14, correct?
right, you still have the additional
But that was going to happen anyway.
option, right. Okay, any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote K. Opposed, vote, geez, help me, nay.
Tough night.
I believe the motion's carried. Back to you.
Older tiger.
Snow plowing. We looked at bids for snow plowing and removal for 2015, and that's a misprint, must be 2015-2016 season for the Courthouse County Building, Animal Shelters, and Central Dispatch from 3 different firms. After reviewing them, it was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the low bids as follows. The courthouse parking lot, Norris Contracting Incorporated for $3,000. County officials lot, Fort Family Builders LLC, $600. Animal Control Shelter, Fort Family Builders LLC, $1,300. And 911 Center, Kinchlow Frontier Contracting LLC, $3,500. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Retention fund balance, net asset distribution was next on the agenda. Reviewing a letter from Regional Risk Manager John Katona, said that our retention fund balance is not in compliance with the member financial policy. After discussion, we decided to commit the year's 2015 net asset distribution of $125,937 to the member retention fund. Consequently, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to authorize the county's $125,937 net asset distribution to the county's member retention fund with regards to MMRMA's policy and recommendation. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Egan. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We then discussed Administrator German's travel request to attend the House hearing. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the travel to Lansing on November 4th, 2015 as presented, and to thank the Administrator for being able to attend and doing so at his own expense. The House hearing regarding the dark stores, on a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion on that?
Thank you for going down there and
Thank you for going on it.
not charging the county.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Borrowing resolution, Didn't we just do this?
Yeah, we already did this, you don't
Okay.
need to do that.
So, we then reviewed bills and payroll. Moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to recommend the approval of October bills and payroll as follows. General claims totaling $326,164.77. Other fund claims of $207,597.17. Payroll of $683,525.67. Health Department claims of $532,631.18. And total claims of $1,749,918.79. And vouchers H1 through H331 on a voice vote. That motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Egan, that we pay all those vouchers and claims. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We then took a look at the budget amendment for the district county jury fees. That costed us totally out of our hands. Hence, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the $5,000 budget amendment for district court's jury fees, 101-136-805.000. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Egan. And we are, I was just looking ahead a little bit, I lost my spot. We're on the budget amendment.
Yep.
Any discussion? Was that the budget amendment or the millage?
No, that was
Budget
The budget amendment, okay. I was just looking forward to see what was coming next. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Final apportionment went to the full board,
Yep, we've already done that.
and same thing with 1528.
Yeah, 1528, we made a number of changes at the health, finance committee. I presume those were all reflected in what we voted on. I should have asked you before, but, okay. So we've already voted on all of that, Commissioner Martin.
So are we going down to?
Down to comments.
Comments.
Chairman,
Yes.
Well,
I think you're still gonna wanna do a motion on those contracts? Or not?
Where is it?
Right underneath resolution 1528 is the
Oh, yes, okay.
family court.
Probate court.
You'll see where it says, Circuit Court Family Division, Charles Palmer, right down there. It's the third paragraph on page 107. Yeah, we need to pick it up there.
okay. So then it was moved by Commissioner McLean.
You're not the first one.
Supported by Commissioner Egan, I don't know.
I've been called worse. Don't worry about it.
To approve the 3 legal services agreements between Probate Court and 50th Circuit Court Family Division and Charles Palmer, Monica Lubritz Quigley, and James Bias. As presented, an annual cost of $36,225 per contract, totaling $108,675 for fiscal year 2016. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner McLean, that we approve those three service agreements. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Going with the next two also.
Yes, please.
It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the agreement for extension services provided by Michigan State University of Chippewa County. Annual work plan fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $45,586. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion on that? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the Health Department's 20% increase in fees for environmental health as presented in their budget submission. An amendment to the original motion was offered by Commissioner Shackleton and supported by Commissioner McLean to change the environmental health fee increase to 15%. On a voice vote, the motion carried 4-1, with Commissioner Egan voting nay.
You need to move it,
Yeah, you need
Um,
or somebody needs to.
Well, that, or do we want to, because, well, okay, I would so move then.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Egan, that we do what he just said.
What he said.
Yeah, what he said there. So, is there any discussion on that motion? I think everybody's clear on it. Basically, we amended and approved a increase in environmental health fees to 15%. And that is the, subject of that,
The next
entire motion, so. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the increase in the health department's environmental health fee by 15% on a voice vote. That motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Okay, motion, I thought we did that in the previous one, but.
No, we changed it from 20 to 15. That was one
Okay.
motion. Then we had to approve it at 15.
Yeah, we could've skipped that. Okay, so we'll do this one, and then we'll have all our i's dotted and our t's crossed. So we have a motion before us to, approve increasing the fees to by 15%. Is there any discussion on this motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to increase the equalization director's wages by $6,000 for fiscal year 2016 on a voice vote. That motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. By the end of the meeting, I start getting it down.
And then
Same with me, and then I forget it by the next time.
Yeah.
29 days of non-use, and we're in trouble. Then we had committee comments. Commissioner McLean addressed the budget process, reflecting he thought it was a legitimate process, one of the easier ones he's dealt with, considering it started with an $800,000 deficit. I talked about Lansing and big box stores. It was then therefore moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to adjourn the meeting. And I guess you declared it. You declared it, so you own this.
All right, we're gonna change that to you. I'm sure you did.
Rats. Okay.
Commissioner
then
Martin declared the meeting adjourned at 6:36. And then,
do I have to move?
please, accept it.
I move for acceptance of the agenda of the Finance Committee as read.
Support.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the minutes for finance claims and accounts, the meeting held on November 4th, 2015, be accepted with one or more changes that we noted during the reading of it. Is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Commissioner report on meetings as board representative in general comments.
Here we
Commissioner
go.
McLean?
I always have. Rudy and I attended the Upper Peninsula County Commissioners Association meeting in Harris, Michigan, Thursday and Friday. Topics that were covered: recycling, status of the U.S. Waters of U.S. rule, which is very controversial. We'll be learning more about that as time passes. They put together this set of rules, and somebody took it to court and got it stayed, so it cannot be implemented at this time, and there's a real process involved in it. Real interesting presentation relative to that. We had a presentation by the DNR, developing partnerships with UP counties. We had a report on the Affordable Care Act, what's new in 2016. That was presented by somebody who we're familiar with, Vince Babcock. He did the presentation there. We had Tim McKee, who presented an update on texting to 911, and that was well received. We had a presentation on rail transport, the rail transport study for the UP. It was done by a fellow from Michigan Tech. He made a presentation relative to that. And there was a presentation on the benefits of NACO membership, and I'll be talking to each of you individually relative to that as we go along. Those were the meetings. Then we had another meeting on Friday morning with the legislators, and that was always worthwhile. We had the representatives there, and lots of questions. And there was a MAC update also, Michigan Association of Counties update. And then a business meeting was later on for UPCAP. So, Rudy, do you have anything? Rudy was also there. I just mentioned the topics that we covered.
very interesting. First one I've gone to, I won't miss one again. You meet a lot of people, a lot of, the after meetings are the best. You get a chance to sit around and talk, and the casino that we were at treats you like royalty. Very nice people. It's a lot of fun, well worth going to.
Where's the next one at?
Be same place at Harris, and it's in the spring. I'm trying to see if there's a date here. Somewhere in the materials.
Couldn't get it over here?
Pardon?
Couldn't get it over here?
I know.
I missed that though.
You gentlemen need to understand that when you want to have a meeting here, you have to do the work for it, okay?
Yeah.
And that's where it comes up short. The other thing is, the Harris site is very central. I mean, people can come from the west, they travel about the same amount of time that we travel to get to it. So, if you start moving it to one end or the other, the attendance starts to drop, and the participation, contribution, and the value. So, but the main thing is, if you would like it next time out, go up and volunteer. We have hosted it at the Bay Mills Resort and Casino, and it was well done. But again, you have to be willing to do all that. I got enough things on my plate right now.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Where was the movement with rail? Because, you know, with our weather being what it is, and as much lumber as we move.
The thing about the study was that the fellow tried to do it, he had a grant to do it. It was flawed to the extent that it was supposed to combine trucking with rail, and he got virtually no cooperation with the trucking firms. They are so into themselves that they don't want to share anything about what they do. He had a pretty good report on the rail. Relative to that, I asked a number of questions because we have CN Rail here, and there was a movement a number of years ago. The Canadians wanted to put a intermodal, transmodal deal where you unload rail cars, put them on trucks and stuff like that. And I mentioned that and tried to pin him down on that, and he responded, which was disappointing for me. He said, well, CN, Canadian National Rail, invested a huge amount of money in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and put the center there. So we may have missed out on some of that. But we've got a number of other things cooking right
The Canadians are putting in a deep water port, which is going to have huge effects on the transportation, and I believe they will build in some multimodal into that port. Well, you'd have to, otherwise what would be the point of doing it? So there's some development going on that's in cooperation with the steel mill over there, and it's a big deal. It's a couple years down the road yet.
I understood, because they've been working on this for a number of years, but as everything, it's all about the money. And the province, from my understanding, was that they weren't interested in doing it. So it wasn't just CN. It was going to require substantial investment by the province. And we have, of course, they have a new government now with another Trudeau. And so you never know what it's going to be. So, just wanted to mention that. You asked a question, I tried to give an answer.
All right, anything else tonight?
I move we adjourn.
Support?
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Klein. Was it you?
It was me.
Commissioner Egan, I'm sorry.
It's cool.
Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner McLean, that we adjourn. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. This meeting's adjourned.
Make some more mistakes.
Vicky and our camping, cheese
Yeah.
on that side of the table.
Nobody can't say we have